2 days ago, we sent an email to our customer, and we published a couple of bits and pieces and updated a couple of pages on our website about the availability of Sitefinity 50.1. The release has been available to download and to try by our partners and some of our most excited customers and prospects. What's on the agenda for today? What are we discussing? What are we showcasing today? I know that we had this debate about whether we should do a lot of slides or do more demos. Right?
Well, I think we're still fighting it out, and we'll probably do it the rest of this conversation. But we do have a pretty action-packed thing. So as just a quick introduction, Jonathan Reed, Principal Solutions or Sales Engineer with Sitefinity. Again, with my good friend and colleague, Alex Shumarski, awesome product marketing manager and all great things Sitefinity, right? Did I miss anything about you?
Nope. I don't have cats, but I know that you have cats. So here's
they
the
might come.
disclaimer. Yeah, we work from home. So if you happen to hear cats or see unicorns in the background, I mean, just bear with us. Just bear with us. All right, let's have a look at the agenda. What are we showing today?
Well, here's kind of the high level things. Please use comments, questions, whatever platform you might be streaming from. We would love to answer those live in-house. So with 15.1, we have a new experience in our ASP.NET renderer for page editing and form building. So this would be customers who are taking advantage currently of our 3-tiered architecture, which we'll talk a little bit more later. So this idea was really something that customers asked for. So we had a new experience. Customers had ideas, and we took advantage of your ideas, and we'll go ahead and present those today. AI. Obviously, huge buzzword in the industry. If we're not talking about AI, we're in the Stone Age, right? So some productivity definitely is going to come with this feature, but there's some other things. Obviously, enriching content. Getting deeper analytics about your content and information, especially when you're using it in conjunction with Insight. Alex, from a marketing perspective, what does AI mean to you in this tagging experience?
It means a lot, and if we have some time at the end of this presentation, as we try to answer some of your questions, use the comment section to ask us your questions. I'll try to share my perspective because there's a lot that's happening in the world of marketing at the moment, and as we are in the crossroads between different departments, and there's a lot of things to be done on a daily basis. We need to have the tool set, and we need to have the setup so we are as productive as we can be.
For sure. So a little bit of again with our new ASP.NET now version 8, so .NET 8. We've introduced a profile widget. This is more of a feature parity thing with some of our older technologies like .NET Framework, where customers were, again, hey, we need a profile widget. We listened and answered. We'll talk about that a little bit more. So this is for authenticated users. So if you're building portals, you have front-end access to your website, and you want your users to be able to manage some profile information. It could be about them, could be managing their little avatar, other string type fields, whatever you're doing. Profile widget is now here for you. We're continuing our journey down the 3-tiered architecture. So what this really means is, we have 3 layers of the application. So with 15.1, we are on the latest Microsoft .NET long-term technology, .NET 8. And we're also looking at early adopters for our Next.js. A colleague of mine, Catherine, and myself, we did a live stream not too long ago about the Next.js render. It's on YouTube, and I believe Alex will follow up afterward with some links as well. So we won't get too far into the other renders, but basically the idea is we're offering new front-end technologies. So for customers who are interested in using emerging technologies like Next.js in our 3-tiered architecture, they are here for you and ready. Cloud. Some of you may have heard, we've now introduced a new version of Sitefinity Cloud. I like to call it Sitefinity as a service, but you guys might more know it as software as a service, so the SaaS model. For a few years now, maybe actually probably closer to 5 years now, 4 or 5, I can't even keep track of time anymore. We've offered the platform as a service model for Sitefinity Cloud. So we have a new model. This is typically best suited for new projects or for a new architecture of your site. So if you're a current Sitefinity customer, we want to have a conversation with you what it might take in an effort to move to our SaaS platform if that's something you're interested in, or of course our platform as a service. And coming soon, we're going to have a webinar about, I believe, kind of the general title will be cloud readiness. So get registered for that. We're going to offer it on 2 different days to kind of handle time zone differences. So one for more the EMEA end of the world, and another in the North America realm. So a new cloud readiness webinar coming your way. I think it's just in a few weeks, right, Alex?
A few weeks, yeah, and we'll be
Few
sending
weeks.
an invitation shortly. Yes.
Awesome. And we'll poke at some recent features. We have our integration hub now, which allows you to integrate with thousands of different products like Salesforce, CRMs, e-commerce, integrate data into Sitefinity, integrate data into Sitefinity Insight. We got a couple new cloud portal features, things like being able to view your user quota, a new view for the domain management area. So when you're managing domains in there, some new screens there. We're not necessarily going to show those, but just kind of want to give you a highlight there. And there's some, if you're using the blob storage add-on, we show you some metrics of how much of that storage you've used. And then this one is, as much as I'm excited about the other features, I'm really excited about this one in the realm of aspects of the customer data platform type of situation with Insight. So as we look at all this data that we know about our visitors, users, wherever that data might be coming from, Sitefinity Insight becomes a great central place for you to manage that data for personalization, personification across all your different channels. We've recently reduced for our subscribed Sitefinity Insight customers the ability for bulk data exports. These include endpoints for contacts, includes endpoints for interaction data, and then a mapping of how those two things work together. This is a nightly update. This will allow you to get data in bulk about all the stuff we've collected up in Insight, and pull that into your favorite data lakes, Azure data lakes, whatever. Also use it with Power BI or Google Data Studio. The possibilities are quite endless. So it's really closing another small gap in the loop of our marketecture, so to speak. And we'll talk about that a little bit more. So that's the general agenda today. I know it's a lot. Of course, any of you who have seen myself before, I am high energy, too many cups of coffee kind of situation. So at this point, Alex, you want to set the stage a little bit for us on, what our 15 version is really looking like?
Yeah, let's look at a word cloud, and probably you might think, well, these are keywords that people search on Google. Well, actually, they are not. These are things to be done in the life in the day of a product marketer like me. And Jonathan spoke about many of the many capabilities and many enhancements in the versions in the recent versions of Sitefinity. But in order for us, for me as a marketer, to be able to stay on top of SEO, PPC, thought leadership, audience, market research, social media marketing, GTM strategy, public relations, content marketing, I can continue forever. I need to be not only empowered, meaning that, hey, feel free to update the homepage, but also to be enabled. And this is where ease of use comes into play. And you see a list of areas where I want to be enabled as part of my day-to-day job, and I want to be able to have access to so many different capabilities, so many different features in order to perform at my best. So if you're a progress partner, if you're a developer, if you're someone at this IT decision maker, have in mind that marketing in general, like we summarize this job role, is more than just putting a blog post on the website. There's so much more. And you need to enable, whether through technology, whether through processes. Let's have a look at the next slide. Your team to be able so they are able, to streamline content updates, not getting back to the IT with another request, but being able to do it on their own, so they can speed up any launches, any product releases, anything that needs to go live in a timely manner. That means access to ready-to-use tools, integrations such as, for example, CRMs or digital asset management platforms, and probably a bit of AI, maybe a couple of widgets, form builders, the kind of stuff that helps me build stuff so I can accelerate time to market, I can shorten time to market. And then again, Jonathan mentioned about understanding the audience and other different areas. In order to personalize the communication, in order to enhance the campaign performance, and really enable me to choose the best layout for my needs, so I can easily build landing pages, product pages, information pages, everything that I need to get my message out. With that in mind, we've been focusing on four main areas in Sitefinity, and we'll show this, we will look at this in the next slide. Multi-channel experience management and decoupled headless, everything that lets you as a developer, as a website manager, stay on top of the latest trends, but also the practitioner experience and the ease of use that Sitefinity is really known for. And there's a bunch of enhancements, especially in 15 and 15.1, that can help content creators like me, content managers like me, to really streamline content creation. Customer data platform, we spoke about it several times. Let us know in the comments if we want to unpack this information, because there's a lot that we can talk about from the perspective of customer data. And last but not least, and Jonathan already mentioned, cloud deployments. Because at the end of the day, if you are on the IT side of things, well, you might want to focus on your weekend plans and soccer games for your kids, but not necessarily just monitor your service in the warehouse. So cloud deployment is something you may want to consider. We mentioned the webinar. We'll be providing more details later in this webinar. So what's on 15.0? For those of you who haven't upgraded yet, who are new to Sitefinity and want to know, there are a couple of things, and our face is actually just masking the stuff that we have for developers. But for content managers and editors, we mentioned AI-assisted authoring. I can share my view why I believe it's really cool to have AI-assisted authoring in my toolbox. But for the web administrator, the Sitefinity Integration Hub is also something that Jonathan mentioned, because it enables me as an end user to leverage data that might be sitting in different systems, different silos, customer data that has been previously unavailable to me. It's easy to set up. It's easy to take to make use of it. And
low
it's really,
code, no code.
no code.
It's platforms. Absolutely, yeah.
And last but not least, the ASP NET Core and developer tool updates. There's plenty of those. I know that Jonathan loves to talk about those. So with this in mind, now that we've set the stage, let's dive into what's new in 15.1 and demos. Lots of demos, hopefully. I haven't seen those. These will be live demos, so you better be prepared, John. Fingers crossed.
Always ready.
What's new in 15.1? I think that you mentioned some of those during the agenda, but why are those important? Let me throw a curveball at you.
Ooh. Well, I mean, so many reasons. So decoupled, right? We briefly talked about it earlier. I think we'll come back to it a little bit. But decoupled, again, allowing you as customers, partners, technology leaders to pick technologies that work for you, that you know, that you like, or are more comfortable with. Obviously, a Next.js type situation is more a JavaScript framework, right? So if you're more comfortable developing with that versus the model view controller pattern, or using C#, those types. So we want to give you technologies that you're comfortable with. We want it to be flexible, right? Again, I first fell in love with Sitefinity as a developer, and then I realized the things that I could produce to allow authors and editors and non-technical teams to be able to facilitate their jobs and not have to talk to me, I was totally cool with, right? And so this is where we're continuing to focus that effort on giving both sets of users of Sitefinity, both developers being able to have high flexibility, customizations, and authors and editors and ease of use. One of the best parts about our renderers, right, Next.js and React and the .NET 8 is that the editing experience for the author is the same. So the way we implement the technology makes it so when I show you .NET 8 or I show you Next.js, the functionalities are the same as how you interact with those. .NET, I mean, look, we are a Microsoft partner, so we continue to strive to be on the latest and greatest technology. So now we are on .NET 8. There's some new widget designer selectors, the profile widget, the AI, which we're going to focus on first, because obviously, it's the most exciting thing. There's also some new site sync enhancements. The site sync enhancement is the ability to configure site sync without a username and password. So that's pretty, just makes it a little bit easier for continuous integration, continuous deployment type patterns, authentication, simplicity, stuff like that.
Let's do a show.
Yeah. So I mean, we'll quickly run through some screenshots, but then we'll use these features live. So one of the biggest features, and again, Alex and I are super excited about this, is the use of AI suggestions. So 15.0, we released our first implementation of AI features within Sitefinity. Now, the CMS itself, we've had AI features within Insight for quite a number of years, but here we wanted to help you generate content, right? So now any content type that you have, that would include news, blog post, or custom content types, it takes all the text fields on the page, it sends it off to, in this case, we're using Azure OpenAI, and it gives us back tags and categories. And you can see here, some got the little parentheses in new. That means those are new ones that it found, but it also will suggest tags in the system that you already have, right? And again, just as a full disclosure, this only works on flat taxonomies, right? So things that are not hierarchical. So categories are hierarchical, parent-child, tree type situation. This only works on as you see here, tags, but it could be a custom taxonomy as well, and I will show you one of those. The new page editing experience, and this also applies to the form building experience. So instead of having that big modal that covers the screen, just kind of getting in the way, multiple clicks to get to stuff, when you add a widget, it's going to slide out from the side. We're going to have all of our categories and everything right here on the sidebar, and really only two categories, content and layout, and then we have sections for each one of these. Now, this one is showing you the form builder. We'll look at it on the page perspective. And again, productivity is really what we're after here. Again, a lot of feedback has come since we've released these new editing experiences, and this was the result of that feedback.
Love it.
And the profile widget, I mean, not overly exciting, but definitely a useful widget, especially again if you have authenticated users into the system. This again, the features that we're highlighting here, except for the AI stuff, as far as the widget features, so the profile widget, this is specific to the .NET 8 renderer. So I think, as per usual, let's kind of put my money where my mouth is, right? And let's see some stuff. So we're actually first going to start out with a news article, right? And I'm just going to quickly write a news article. I'm going to do this particular news article with the idea of using not only the newest feature about tagging, but I'm also going to just remind you on how I can generate content. So I've already come up with some key points. I've copied and pasted them from another screen just to take some some time away from it. So we're adding key points. We're describing an audience. So this is for business associates. So this is a franchise portal. This is somewhere where my business team members log in to get information about the franchise. And we're talking about a new customer outreach situation that we're doing, how we're internally using for our franchise business, CRM, CDP, to bring people together and help sell or promote the business itself. The tone is going to be professional. And let's go with 200 words. Oops, no numbers locked today. 200 words, there we go. And we'll go ahead and compose that text. So again, this has been available since 15.1. This is independent of the renderers situation, right? So you can use this with the framework application. You can use it with the .NET Core renderer. So this is independent of that. So we've written some content. I do now want to summarize this content so I could use it in my summary area of it. So I'm going to use the summary, which is going to summarize the text I've already used. I'm going to add some keywords, but this time I want it to be maybe only 25 words, right? I'll summarize the text here. I'm going to copy it this time instead of inserting it, and I'm going to use it in my article summary here, right? I'm going to go ahead and use the same thing for my search engine optimization and my open graph descriptions, right? At this point, again, I've written the article. I used AI to do it, but you could do this on articles that you already have, right? And it's going to use all this content that it currently has, and we're going to generate some tags. So using the suggested AIs here, as I mentioned, some of these are going to be new. So you can see they're highlighted with parentheses there, but some of them are going to be reused from my system. So this is press release. Actually, this particular tag is important in my system because I have a specific press releases page where I only show press releases, news articles for that particular group. So it found that it's related to that. Customer outreach, and I think that's pretty good. So we'll go ahead and use those selected. We've now inserted those tags, and we can go ahead and publish it. If I remember to add my required images there, and we'll use this, moment. So, I mean, Alex, when you're creating content for the web, I mean, how does this help you, increase? I mean, one, productivity, but I mean, outreaching to potentially customers and clientele, et cetera.
It's not only customers, to be honest,
Yeah,
because we have a slide, and we might want to pull it if you can. I think it's
sure.
24 slide, but customer journeys have become so complex that you need to be able to
Yeah,
create some content in one form or shape or another and quickly distribute it. So those AI capabilities that I can tap into really give me the opportunity to quickly repurpose existing content and to make
right.
it suitable for the different stages of the funnel. Even if you are, I mean, if you don't have a classic funnel in your business type or a vertical, but think about it. Sales comes to you and they say, well, I need a quick email, or I need a summary of a white paper, or I need something to give to our customers right now in 15 minutes because I need to prepare for a call. So using those capabilities, I can easily grab a couple of URLs, a couple of articles, summarize
Right.
them, ask the OpenAI to create even a couple of slides for me, quickly repackage it, and just send it to whoever requested it. And one of the
Yeah,
benefits, I think, is, I mean, you can always use ChatGPT, but one of the benefits of having those tools integrated within Sitefinity is that if you're an IT decision maker, or you are responsible, for example, content governance, chances are that within your company you have some AI usage policies. So the ability
absolutely.
to tweak the prompts and to lock, the scope of use for AI is also something that can help with brand messaging, integrity, and way beyond just summarizing and writing or scaffolding some
Yeah,
content. So it's really amazing, and it's a AI is here to stay, and I'm really
for
happy
sure.
that I'm seeing this kind of capabilities implemented in Sitefinity, because it really improves my pace of work, and actually and the speed, and I would say even the quality of the content that I'm creating for the.
Yeah, it, definitely. I mean, one of the things, just to kind of reiterate some of your points there, is yeah, when we tag content, Insight Findy specifically, when using it with Insight, we track that. So as
True.
I go and consume content with a tag or category, I can now use that to personify. I can now use it to lead score. I could use it potentially as part of a conversion model as well. Which kind of actually leads us to a question from the audience. Will you automate this profile screen for text generation to automatically select Insight persona? I think this is referencing back maybe to the news screen here. I mean, keep in mind that personalization doesn't happen directly at the news article level, right? But when we are interacting with a content block on page, we can use the AI service to personalize content. We do select a persona first, or potentially a user segment first, and then we really just change the keywords to match that. So I would say, not exactly. We're not going to, personalize the content here at the news article level. We would be personalizing the listing of news widgets to maybe really show more applicable content or information to a user segment based on a journey or something that somebody has. So I would say, again, yeah, not exactly, but definitely a great idea to look into. So yeah, thanks for bringing that up. There was one question earlier. Is this recorded? Yes,
Yes,
absolutely.
it will
This,
record.
yeah, I didn't mean to ignore you earlier, but yeah, this is definitely being recorded. Um, so yeah, keep in mind that these three AI services here are also available on the content block in the page with one caveat. There's an additional one, personalized text. Now that is only available in the new page editing experience, but when I use it to personalize text, I've already defined my user segment. Where I've already selected my segment and et cetera. Okay, thanks for the clarification. So the clarification to the question is, where we typed user voice, et cetera, will it be to define from a persona? Again, great idea. Definitely it doesn't do that today. And I guess because this is because we chose to do live demonstrations on purpose here, as we go and we look at a particular page, there is a little bit difference. And no, it doesn't directly interact with personas itself. But when I go to personalize a particular page or content, let me just get a page here. So for example, if we wanted to personalize this particular page and content on it, um, again, I can personalize it here. I select a user segment. So, well, I only have wintry type stuff. We're over winter, but we're going to select it anyway. So I've selected a group here. Now, when I go and edit this particular piece of content and information, I can now personalize the text, but I still do need to provide the audience manually. Yeah, we'd have to have some type of voice or maybe something from the description in Insight, but definitely a great idea. Definitely appreciate the feedback there. So keep it coming. So that connection does not exist today, but doesn't mean that it won't, right?
The question also is whether you as a organization or as an enterprise or even a content creator are ready to let AI do everything for you. So this is basically another way to look at it, but definitely a good suggestion. Yeah.
Absolutely. All right. So Alex, we saw the generation of tags and the generation of content with two AI features. One's been here since 15. The other new one, that's suggestion of tags. Actually, before I do this page stuff here real quick, let's do one other thing. I have some content actually, that we may want to categorize already. And we can do that as well. So here's a custom content type generated for this system. As you can see here, this is also a custom classification called ingredients, right? So I can actually use AI right here. It didn't find any suggestions. Let me go back one. Let me try one that I haven't done. So a chocolate cake here. All right, so here it's found a couple suggestions here for content that I may have already generated. So it doesn't have to be content you're generating right now. Once you upgrade to 15.1, it could be all the content that you already have. Go ahead and step through, use the AI suggestions, and generate those tags and categories. Use it in conjunction with Insight to help build personas, audiences, segments, this type of situation. But this really leads us to our next feature, which is the new page building experience, right? And this experience will apply to forms as well. We'll go take a look at one of those here in just a minute. So as I go to add a widget here, again, instead of a full screen, in your face modal covering everything, we now have the slide out where we're going to select a widget. You either have a content widget or you have a layout widget. I have custom widgets across the top here, and then we have our basic sets of widgets. We have content lists or document lists. so on and so forth. So these are all the same sections that we had before, just organized a little bit differently. I actually want to use a layout here, and I want to use a section preset. As a reminder, section presets are a predefined set of widgets, meaning sections, layouts, designs. As you can see here, we're going to focus in on a landing page, right? So here I've predefined that, and I'm really ready to go. And you know, the rest of the experience is more of the same, right? So we can edit our content. We still got our personalization and whatever. You can see I got some lorem ipsum text in there. But let's go ahead and look at quickly maybe a content list here. So the content list, we might want to show some news articles. So we'll select that type of content. The only major difference here is that when you select the template, you just do it here. So we can do maybe a list with an image and then map out some particular text. So no major changes in the functionality here, except for how that side drawer comes out. So we got some news articles there. We still have the page structure and information. Again, as a reminder, we can add widgets right from here. So if I wanted to add a widget to column 1, I could do that. It'll automatically open that same sidebar here, and I could add another content block below the original content block there. So just some minor changes here to the page editing experience. Hopefully this is reducing the amount of clicks and interactions that you have to have with the CMS. Again, giving a more what you see is what you get experience. And again, increasing productivity is really kind of the bottom line here. To take one other step here, go ahead, Alex, while I navigate around here.
I really enjoy you doing those demos every time, yeah.
I appreciate it. So form editor, there is one slight difference between the form editing experience and the page editing experience. When we add a widget to the form now, it's going to automatically open up the designer for us. So when I add a text box here, it's going to automatically open up the text box interface, because you know you have to configure these in order to be successful here. I don't know. I don't have any good examples here. Time of day, whatever. And so we're looking for a text field there called time of day, right? Whatever. So now difference here is as you add the widget over here, it's going to automatically open up those designers for you to interact with those. Okay, so slight difference between the page editing experience and the form building experience. And as a quick note, page template experience is the same as pages, right? So same experience there. The only major difference with that editor, and again, this is with the new editor experience, which is available with any of our renderers. That'll be .NET 8 or Next.js/React. This is the editing experience for both of those situations. What do you think, Alex?
As someone who is poking with the website on a daily basis, I love all those little enhancements. You might think that, well, these are minor enhancements, but imagine a boiler room, and around the release, around the important announcements, things can get hectic. So those tiny improvements, or sometimes not that tiny, are really a great time saver, and I really appreciate the team behind those new features and those new improvements.
Yeah, I mean, we definitely again we want you to understand we're listening to your voice and to the needs of you as customers and partners. So keep it coming. Keep the flow of information to us, and we'll do our best to get those features implemented for you. And that's exactly where a lot of these came from. So
Jonathan, why do I see your name on this page?
why? Because we're looking at the profile widget now. So again, going to be a quick demonstration here of the profile widget, again, via the .NET 8 editor or .NET 8 renderer. Again, heavy request from our user groups and our customers to have a profile widget available in, again, the .NET 8 renderer. So I'm actually authenticated to this site, but I am authenticated via single sign-on. In fact, this happens to be a Sitefinity Cloud site. So when I go to edit my profile here, so we're looking at it from a front-end perspective, there's some fields that I cannot edit because they actually come from my single sign-on pattern. But I can add things like about me, you know, like I like long walks on the beach, right? Who doesn't, right? Because I hear our partners are in Puerto Rico. Did you hear that too?
Yeah.
Man, this is
I
whatever.
actually saw someone shared on LinkedIn.
Right.
Quite a few great snaps from there.
Yeah, it's a good time.
Okay.
So here I can quickly update my profile and we're good to go. Now, what you do with that profile information is obviously completely up to you, and the fields that they can interact with. But now, as you can see here, and a lot of times these profile information may be displayed with, I don't know, blog post or on a profile page. I don't know. You have lots of different use cases here, but again, profile widget is now here. Obviously, there's templates that go along with it for editing capabilities. You could have it be read-only. You could have it obviously be both. There's a few configurations for it, but new widget via the .NET 8 renderer.
That's nice.
All right. So I think that mostly concludes, actually it does. It includes most of our live demonstrations. I mean, did everybody get to see what they wanted to see today? I mean, feel free again to use the comments and chats here. Again, few new widgets there. Some of the features that we talked about earlier aren't necessarily demonstratable or even that exciting. So again, authenticating with site sync. This again is for ease of use of administration of the application. Don't any longer need usernames and passwords. So again, some other features coming along there. So with all that fun being said, I think we should talk a little bit more about our cloud. And again, keep these questions coming. We do appreciate your interactions here. So, I mean, modern digital experiences, Alex. I mean, what are we talking about here? If we're talking about cloud or Sitefinity in general.
Um, from my perspective, I'm not necessarily interested in where my website is hosted or
Right.
deployed. I don't care as a marketer, as long as it's already there and as long as I have an up-to-date deployment. The website, it always uses the latest version of the product, gives me access to the capabilities. I'm interested in getting back to our IT team or whoever is building our website and say, hey guys, can you roll this particular new feature in the foreseeable future, meaning a week or a day or 2 or 3 days or 4 weeks. And this is important for me.
Right.
It's the ease of use for day-to-day tasks is also important for me. The ability to tap into customer data is also important for me, because
Right.
by combining all those 3 different pillars, then I can go out and say, hey, we've created the DX for our customers the way we want it, that sets apart from our competitors. And I know that, as I mentioned it early on, when we mentioned about cloud, and I mean, if you're managing your infrastructure all the time, or you are, keeping the lights on at the warehouse, maybe, just maybe, you're not using the opportunity that this time saving or putting your website in the cloud will give you to
Right.
focus on other important stuff.
Yep.
But that's another big question. Should you stay on premises or should you go into the cloud? And I know
For
that
sure.
many of our customers are actually asking us, why should I go into the cloud if my website is still up and running all the time and it's
Right.
happily humming and it does what it's supposed to do? So I would like to get your perspective from someone
Yeah.
who is into the nitty-gritty of the technical stuff.
I mean, ease of use when we talk about Sitefinity, obviously can mean so many different things, right? But I find the application as a technical person to be just as easy to use as for my authors and editors, which we're obviously widely recognized for. So what we've done with Sitefinity Cloud is we've offered two models, right? And this idea is really to reduce the overhead of internal IT staff having to manage the application, plus giving you premium features out of the box. This includes things like HIPAA compliance, GDPR compliance. It includes things like continuous integration and continuous deployment. How about your website not going down during a deployment, Alex? I mean, how would you like to say that to your boss, right? Hey, I got this thing I want to buy. We're going to be able to deploy new code and the website's not going to go down. I mean, these are the types of premium features that come with the Sitefinity Cloud offering, and it comes with both versions of the offering. That includes our, again, I affectionately call it Sitefinity as a service, but really, I guess it's software as a service. But who's counting here, right? So it's really available in both of our models. So for me as a technical advocate, right, being able to interact with Sitefinity Cloud, I can get onboarded. I can go look at the documentation. It says, how do you set it up locally? I press a couple buttons. I do some code changes. I click another button and poof, right? It's off into the cloud. Nobody understands the cloud, but we do, right?
Jonathan, just before you
Yeah.
continue, in all fairness, doesn't mean that, I mean, I'm also a fan of Sitefinity Cloud, but doesn't mean that you can achieve the same things on premises.
Great point. I mean, yes. So now I will offer a little bit of a caveat here. There are some differences between the platform as a service
Okay.
and the software as a service model on where you can customize the application, right? So the platform as a service model allows you full access into the CMS layer and the front end rendering layer. So if you did, for whatever reason, want to perform CMS customizations, you can do it with the platform as a service model. These customizations would include what we call admin app extensions. It would include implementing your own event hubs or implementing, I mean, some deeper customizations into the software. I can give you a whole list at some point if anybody's interested. But where the software as a service model, you get access to the front end technology. That's going to be available right now in .NET 8, where you clone that. You get two environments and you're connecting remotely to that environment. This can be done from a Mac. This could be done from obviously a Windows desktop. Because it's .NET 8, there is no need for a Windows operating system any longer. Again, with our early adopters, we're also looking at adopting this with Next.js and obviously other rendering technologies as well. So the productivity, and I'm sure you're tired of us hearing that word, with SaaS and PaaS is going to be definitely increased because we include the tools that you need to be successful. So customizations will happen in a couple different areas. SaaS is going to give you kind of the full front end experience. You can develop custom widgets. We can still do obviously data integrations. Those are most likely going to happen through our integration hub, where we can bring content into Sitefinity. We can get content out of Sitefinity. We can connect to form submission with low code, no code to thousands of different systems. I mean, challenge me and we'll see if we can find it, right? Both PaaS and SaaS offer that same integration layer or integration hub specifically. So from a technology standpoint, it's honestly less for me to learn, to get started with Sitefinity. And as you get to choose the front end technologies of your choice, when you're more comfortable in your coding language or your aspect, it makes the customizations for your business even easier. And that's really what we're trying to achieve here.
Yeah, Jonathan will be available to answer your questions during the upcoming webinar in
Absolutely.
about 2-3 weeks. Yes, so send us your questions. We'll be more than happy to answer those. Register. Now that you've navigated to this particular slide, I was going to ask you, what are the major differences between the PaaS and the SaaS in terms of
It's like me, you know. Jeez, get out of my head. Yeah, so PaaS versus SaaS or SaaS versus PaaS or an acronym soup here, right? There are some differences in the size of the technology, right? So SaaS, we're targeting like up to 60 million page views per year. SaaS includes one website. Okay, so this means multi-site instances. That includes domains or whatever, but that's using the Sitefinity multi-site feature. I'd like to separate my content and sitemaps, multi-site, right? We'll include one with the SaaS offering. There's an option to increase that with add-ons. PaaS is an infinite websites, right? I mean, you can have as many as you want. You still do have to purchase domains or subdomains that go along with platform as a service. SaaS, when you add a website, you get a domain with it, okay? But those could be used for other features as well. Languages, we're gonna include 2 languages out of the box with the SaaS model. We can increase that up to 5, infinite in the PaaS model. There's less backend users, so these are concurrent backend users. These are people who are logging into the Sitefinity system, managing, editing content, right? So Alex, if we're both logged in at the same time, that's 2, right? That's two back-end users. If we invite 3 more of our friends, we're going to go over the SaaS out of the box limitation, right? So that 6th person would get that warning, say, hey, too many here. You got to increase or whatever. So we can go up to 15 back-end users with the SaaS model. The PaaS model is a tier-based, so we have tiers 1, 2, and 3, each including a certain number of page views in those tiers. Now, there are abilities to add page views to those as well. SaaS is purely consumption-based. It starts out with 1 million page views, and you add as many as you want going with it. That being said, we don't shut off services or anything like that, so overages are counted for on a yearly basis. Now, tenancy. The PaaS model is a separate subscription for each one of our customers. The SaaS model shares a underlying infrastructure. So each application is set up with networking and separation of concern in this regard, but it is sharing underlying servers, we'll call it that, just for lack of better terms here, technology. But everybody is separated from a networking perspective, user access, et cetera. So we're not sharing databases or anything along those lines. Each customer has its own set of databases, his own set of applications, et cetera. But again, there's one big giant server, so to speak, managing all these infrastructures.
Let me read your mind. Updates, upgrades.
Yeah, here's where the fun really gets into play. So down the left-hand side, the PaaS model, as mentioned earlier, back-end customizations. You can still choose to use the .NET Framework MVC presentation, or you can choose to use the .NET 8 presentation. Upgrades are on the customer. What this really means is automated upgrades. So automated upgrades means we actually take your code for you, we upgrade it, and then you are in control when you'd like to bring it into your code base, right? Now, SaaS, that still applies to the front end technology, but the CMS layer of the technology, there's no upgrades. So your system is always up to date. We'll give you, for example, when Sitefinity 15.1 came out, all of our SaaS customers were automatically upgraded in the CMS layer. They didn't have to touch anything. They woke up tomorrow and it was there. Now they still have a choice in the rendering technology. So we released the profile widget, right? That they have to click a button to say, okay, yeah, I'm willing to take that particular upgrade, right? And this is what we call automated upgrades. So that's a slight difference, but the CMS is always up to date. Security patches, new feature releases, all that type of stuff. The front end technology you are still in control of, but we highly recommend you take that click of a button and it goes to that first environment that's included with cloud. And then configuration changes, CI/CD, all of it is done directly in the cloud versus SaaS. Here you can do a little bit more flexibility in where you can make CI/CD configurations. So again, the SaaS model really going to focus in on the ease of maintenance, right? And this is going to drastically reduce the amount of time that you're going to spend upgrading the application. And you can really just focus in on the front end technology. And again, it's a small amount of effort to get that front end technology upgraded. And it will be a zero downtime deployment too for both models.
So here's another curveball.
Yeah.
I am just starting my business. I have some very, very aggressive growth goals for growing my business.
Sure.
Where should I start? I mean, potentially launching one website, maybe going.
I mean, both models are scalable, right? So there's going to be a little bit more overhead on entry to the PaaS model, meaning from a technology standpoint. SaaS, you're going to be able to get up and running, quicker as far as a technology standpoint. You're going to access, the front end technology. You're going to implement your CSS, any, JavaScript theming, templating, that type of stuff, and build your content types, and you're going to be off and running. Both are, scalable, right? So I mean, to me, it's a choice of SaaS, right? It's going to get you off the ground, up and coming, very quick, and be able to scale at a need. Now, if you have a vision that you're going to be above 60 million page views in the course of a couple years, maybe we look at the PaaS model for some of those situations. But I think time to market will be very, very quick for the SaaS model, and would be our general recommendation for a brand new project for sure.
Cool. Thank you for this one. I have another question, but I'm going to ask you to answer it during our upcoming webinar.
Ooh.
What do I need to do in order to migrate from on-premises to the cloud? Technical requirements, data,
Sure.
who can do it, who is going to do it? We are nearing the top of the hour. Let's see if we have other questions. Open the stage for questions from
let's do
the
that.
audience, see if we have anything there. And obviously, yes, I'll make sure that I'll join for the cloud webinar to ask you those questions, because just like you, I love learning stuff.
Okay, great question. SLA, so it's the same as the PaaS model. Yeah, definitely not identified here, but 99.9%. Great question.
Good question. Thank you, Johan.
Great question. Yeah, I mean, honestly, ask us anything. We're not shy, as you know, so it could be outside the scope of what we already covered. But yeah, I mean, as we kind of look into the future, there will be a follow-up email after this. We'll include some links. Some of those links will include some resources.
Yep.
Oh gosh, Alex, one thing we forgot to mention in reference to cloud, more or less, is we have a new trial experience, right?
Yeah, I was going to just wrap up with this one. Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's mention it. Let's mention it. Yeah.
Let's mention it. Well, cat's out of the bag now, and surprisingly enough, no cats today. What a sad show. Okay, so new trial experience, right? So for anybody who obviously wants to try new features, for anybody who's potentially a new customer who wants to see Sitefinity for the first time, we have a brand new trial experience. For those of you who have seen any of our demonstrations or webinars, this trial experience is based off of our Coriander Lane experience. And now you can sign up, and we are going to give you a hosted model that's actually technically underlying. It's our SaaS-based model, which is really super cool, right? You're going to actually have full access to the front-end technology, so you can download it on your own. You can invite users, so it's both a developer trial and a user experience trial for the system as well. So you're going to get both of those. Very simple sign up. It's going to spin up all the access that you particularly need. And again, you're going to get both best of both worlds. You're going to be able to get access to the front end technology. We have Insight already hooked up. We got personalization in there. We got so here's kind of what it looks like. We got personalization in there already set up. We have a great README file that explains all the exciting features that we have. You're going to have full access to the DevOps portal here with one single environment for you to have access. You can download the code. You could request an integration hub trial. You can manage users, all sorts of great stuff in here. So we're really excited about this. We've been working on this for quite some time now. So this is a great way for you to get the brand new Sitefinity experience from a back-end perspective, using the new editor, managing the experience, and for developers, you can even get access to the full code as well.
Before we wrap up, we have a very, very interesting question.
Ooh, I wasn't even looking at the screen. What do we got?
Look at one.
How far away is it moving? It's great. It's a great question. I'm a publicly traded company, so I can't really promise you things that don't exist, right? So disclaimer there, right? But it's in the works, and it is coming. Time frame.
We don't know.
We don't know for sure. But we've seen stuff, and it's definitely there. I mean, if I were to be brave enough to guess, 6 months, a year for beta, probably. Maybe alpha at that particular point is probably a fair assessment. But stay tuned. I mean, we're going to keep you guys up to date. You'll probably catch me as the first person screaming out loud when it's available, looking for your input and your excited feedback. But it's coming and it's being worked
Keep an
on
eye.
as we speak. Yep,
Keep an eye on the website in your inbox, and
for sure.
you'll see a link to a webinar that puts John in the spotlight. Any other questions before we wrap up, guys? Remember, we'll be posting the recording. We'll be sending more resources. Sign up for the cloud webinar if this is something that you are evaluating, as well as we have a bi-weekly meeting that discusses bi-weekly event on LinkedIn again that discusses CDP, customer data. So if you're into data-driven marketing, going in this direction, you'd like to learn more about how Sitefinity Insight can help you, sign up for this session. You will hear from some great professionals and some of our friends. They're in Puerto Rico. Most of them are at the moment enjoying some deserved time off on the partner roundtable. But yes, they're available to answer your questions related to anything CDP. With that in mind, we really appreciate you.
Thank you so much.
With us today. Thank you so much. It's been a wonderful.
Yeah, feel free to reach out to myself on LinkedIn, or if you already got my email, reach out to me there. Always happy to, do real live demonstrations, whatever you guys need. As always, we appreciate your time. We appreciate you using Sitefinity, or at least considering Sitefinity. And until next time, have a wonderful day. Thank you all.
Thank you.